Hello children, how are you all? Today we are going to learn a new topic, and before that, what is my dialogue? Please share and subscribe, and don't skip the video. Watch the video completely. Okay? And then today we are going to start the session with a breathing exercise. When you breathe in and out with a deep breathing, and when you breathe out with an humming sound, your brain will be stimulated and it will enhance your focusing power, that is concentrating power. Okay, so we will also do the breathing exercise before we focus in any concept. Come, let us do. Breathe in, hold for some time, breathe out. Again breathe in, hold, breathe out, slowly breathe in, hold for some time, breathe out slowly. How do we breathe? When you breathe in, what happens? Have you ever realized that? When you breathe in, you will take in oxygen. When you breathe out, you will leave the carbon dioxide. And meanwhile, what happens inside your body? Do you realize that? We are going to see that in this video. We all know that exchange of gases takes place in our lungs, isn't it? We take in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, isn't it? So, cellular respiration. What do you mean by cellular respiration? The living organisms will respire by utilizing the oxygen which they breathe, and along with that the food get digested during the digestion process. So the final end product of the food is being converted to glucose. All the major macromolecules which we eat in our daily life, they all will convert into glucose. This glucose and oxygen together will play a major role in the cellular respiration. That means not only the respiration process will take place, the cells will also produce the high energy compound, that is the ATP molecule. So the ATP molecule will only give the energy for the living organism to survive and to do various metabolic activities inside the body. Okay, all the cells where they do various metabolic activities like breathing, and excretion, reproduction, and then daily production of proteins for the growth and development, and the repair cells has to be repaired, and the dead cells has to be cleaned. All these metabolic activities, they require energy. So this ATP molecule is produced during the cellular respiration only. That too, when we respire oxygen along with the food which we ate will be converted into glucose. Both glucose and oxygen will together function and they'll get converted into produce the ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is what happens in all the living organisms, children. That's the cellular respiration. Okay, so this cellular respiration is a major metabolic activity and they have various glucose pathway. Come, let us see one by one. First, aerobic respiration. So from the term aerobic itself, you would have understood that it takes place in the presence of oxygen. So only if the oxygen is present, the living organism will respire and they will produce the ATP molecule. Energy is produced, along with that carbon dioxide and water will be produced. And this metabolism will take place in the human beings and animals and various other living organisms, those who depend on oxygen. Okay, clear? So the living organism which depend on oxygen for their respiration to produce the energy production along with the carbon dioxide breathing out mechanism, all this involves the aerobic respiration process. Here the glucose will be converted to carbon dioxide, water, and the ATP energy is produced in the presence of oxygen, children. So this is about the aerobic respiration. Okay, children. Now anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic. So from this itself, you would have understood that it takes place in the absence of oxygen. That is, living organisms will respire when there is no oxygen also. For example, microorganisms like yeast and bacteria, no, they will respire even in the absence of oxygen. So that's a fermentation process which we have learned in our earlier classes itself, and in our day-to-day life also we experience this fermentation process. Your mother will prepare the idli flour, no? That's a fermentation process where the yeast will respire in the absence of oxygen. So what happens here also ATP will be produced, but the energy will be very less when compared to the aerobic respiration. There the ATP, high energy compound will produce more efficient when compared to the anaerobic respiration. Energy will be produced, but it will be less. That's about the anaerobic respiration. The third pathway, this is also an anaerobic respiration only, but here it will be the lack of oxygen. That is, in human beings itself, we can take an example in the muscle cells, no? In the anaerobic respiration, that is due to lack of oxygen, the lactic acid will be produced in muscles that leads to muscle cramps. So this is also an anaerobic respiration that is due to lack of oxygen in the human being. This we can take it another example for anaerobic respiration, children. That's about the glucose pathway, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Children, I have posted a shorts video also on this aerobic and anaerobic respiration. That link also I will be sharing along with this video in the comment box. Please go through that video also. If you have any doubts, please comment me. And those who are willing to participate in the one-to-one online paid coaching, kindly contact me in the email ID which I have shared. Thank you.